Hey, Algebra 1 kids, this is Dr. Callahan with Week 7 Friday. Congratulations, you guys made it. Let's go ahead and take a look at your warm-up today. Keep in mind there are 3 questions, and then also your warm-up blog is going to be due, that's coming up soon, so it's in your best interest to make sure that you have all of the boxes filled out. And if they're not, make sure you take a look which week it's missing on, and then go to MS Team and fill out those boxes. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Let's go ahead and start the assignment for today. Okay, so today is week 7, Friday, and it's Algebra 1, Semester 2. Your instruction is to watch the video in its entirety, one for your attendance, the other one uploading your assignment to make sure that you get points for today. The links are right here. Make sure you check in with me by 8:40 a.m. because that is when your assignments are due, so that's important that you get that done. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about the following topics. Our focus is going to be on graphing quadratics from factored form. And make sure that you guys upload your assignment by 3 p.m. on Fridays. I'm going to go ahead and sign that. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get started and proceed forward with this. Let's take a look at the breakdown of what we're going to be talking about today. I have my notes on graphing quadratic from factored form. I have the first classwork where you're going to be working by yourself. And number 2, you're going to be matching a graph from factored form of the quadratics. And so this is kind of what we're going to be looking at. So turn over to your guided notes, which looks like this. This is where we're going to be starting. Here is page 2, page 3, and then of course page 4. So let's go ahead and get started with this then. So we'll start off right here. So I want you guys to go ahead and read it, analyze the steps, and see how it is solved. How were they able to get the 2x values and the y values? All right, analyze the steps. How did Dr. Callahan graph this? Now do this on your own, cover the answers. Let's take a look at the first part over here. All right, so first, factor. So when I factor this, remember your last number is going to be your positive 7. Your middle number is going to be a positive 8. Everything is positive. There are no negative numbers, so all your answers have to be positive. So that could be a 1 to 7. I really thought that's the only option. So your answer here is x plus 1, x plus 7 equals 0. Now you have to go ahead and solve for x. Opposite of a positive 1 is a negative 1. Opposite of a positive 7 is a negative 7. So what you do here on this graph is if you look at it, here is negative 7 and here is negative 1. Now, how do you find the vertex right here? There's a formula that you're going to be using. So we did the first one, second one, third one, done with that. Now we're going to go on to the fourth one. We're going to do the 2 numbers added together divided by 2. So your x value is a negative 1 minus 7 divided by 2. So negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4. So the x value of my vertex is negative 4. And if you look at this right here, that's kind of correct. That is at negative 4. But then how do I know how low it gets? Because what is going to be my y value then? Well, you are going to go back to this equation right here. Do you see where it says y is equal to x? Well, your x is negative 4. So let's do negative 4 squared plus 8 times x, which is negative 4, plus 7. So you're going to need your calculator if you need it. Negative 4 squared is a negative 4 times negative 4. That's a positive 16. 8 times negative 4 is a negative 32 plus 7. So then you're going to have a negative 32 plus 23. So y equals negative 10. So that's it. Your vertex is at negative 4, negative 10. If you look at it, I'm going all the way down to negative 10. That's your vertex. And the last thing that you do is you want to connect the dots and draw your parabola. And that's how you find and graph this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next part. So we're going to do one on our own. Okay, we're going to start with this one right here. Okay, so step 1, factor. So when I go ahead and factor this, I have a negative 5 and a positive 4. You do have one of the numbers negative, so you're going to be using negative numbers. So I can use a negative 1, positive 5, positive 1, negative 5. Which one of these add up to a positive 4, do you think? Yep, it's the first one. So we're going to set the factors equal to 0, x minus 1 equal to 0, x plus 5 equal to 0. Next step, solve for the factors of the x's. Opposite of a negative is a positive. Opposite of a positive is a negative. So then from there, you're going to go to positive 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot right there. But then I need to know where the vertex is, so that way I can figure out how low or how high it's going to be. Well, in this case, because the positive x squared, you know that it's a smiley face. So next up, my x is going to be these two numbers added together divided by 2. So positive 1 minus 5 is a negative 4. Divided by 2 gives me a negative 2. And that's great, but I need to know, here's my negative 2 right there. So I know this is my axis of symmetry at negative 2. But I also need to know how low I need to get this. So I have y equals x squared, that's a negative 2 squared, plus 4 times negative 2 minus 5. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. 4 times negative 2 is a negative 8 minus 5. So this will be a negative 4 minus 5, which is a negative 9. So your vertex is at negative 2, negative 9. So let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you have your last step, which is just basically connect the dots. And this is your parabola. All right, let's try another one. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. This one has a negative 1 in the front. Do you see that? So you're going to take that negative 1, multiply it to the 8, which gives you a negative 8. Middle number is a 2. Well, given the fact that you have a negative number, you're going to look for negative numbers for factors of negative 8. Negative 8 or negative 1, positive 8, positive 1, negative 8, negative 2, 4, positive 2, negative 4. Those are your pairs. Now, which one of these gives you a positive 2? Yep, you got it. It is going to be the negative 2 and the positive 4. So then my temporary answer, and I say temporary because it is temporary, is x minus 2 equals 0, or actually x minus 2, let's just put it this way, and x plus 4. It's temporary because do you see how you multiply by the negative 1? Opposite of that means that you have to divide it by a negative 1. Okay, so I'm going to move this negative in front. So I have a negative x minus 2. Divide this into the 4, so I have a x minus 4. And actually, I'm going to reverse that. Sorry, give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and divide this into it. So x plus 2. This one, let's move it to the front. Negative 1x plus 4. Better. All right, set it equal to 0. X equals negative 2. Now with this one, you're going to subtract the 4 on both sides. Negative x equals a negative 4. Well, if negative x equals a negative 4, what do you think a positive x is going to be? Well, a positive x is going to be a positive 4. Okay, so you have those 2 points. So a negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, where is your axis of symmetry? You could add the 2 numbers together, or you could just go, well, where do you think the middle is? It's like right there. And that looks like x is equal to positive 1. But I have to figure out what my y is going to be. So I know that y is equal to negative x squared. So that's going to be a negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 8. That's a negative 1 plus 2 plus 8. What's a 1 plus 8? A 9. So your vertex is a 1, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And your last piece that you want to do with this is you want to go ahead and connect the dots. And that is your parabola. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and do some practices on your own. I'm going to have you guys work on that one by yourself and see how far you get. So give that a try. Okay, let's give this one a try. So looking at this right here, notice how you have a negative 1 in front. Multiply that with a 5. And you have a negative 5. Your middle number is a negative 4. They're negative, so you're going to be using negative numbers in here. So that we know. And then from here, we're going to ask ourselves, negative 1 times 5 is a negative 5. Positive 1 times negative 5 is a negative 5. But then which one of these add up to a middle number, negative 4? And it is 1 and negative 5. So that is going to be your temporary answer. So x plus 1 and x minus 5. Then remember how you multiply by the negative 1? Well, you're going to balance it by dividing by a negative 1. So in the divided by negative 1, divided by negative 1. All right, so then looking at this, I'm going to take a look at this and bring that negative 1 in the front. And then x plus 5 equals 0. So your 2 answers here is negative x equals a negative 1, positive x equals a positive 1. Here, positive x equals a negative 5. So then I have 1 and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do you think your axis of symmetry is going to be? I think it's going to be right here in the middle. That's your axis of symmetry. And to me, that looks like x is going to equal to -2. So that means you want to know what your y is going to be. So let's go ahead and plug that in. You're going to plug it in into this equation right here. So y is equal to -x², that's a -2 squared, minus 4 times -2 plus 5. So this will give you a -4. That's going to give you a +8 plus 5. So what is 4 plus 5? Well, that's going to give you, I'm sorry, 4 plus 5 is going to give you a 9. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And from here, you're going to draw your dots, connect them. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Hold on a sec. I totally screwed this up. Okay, first thing is first. I noticed that this is a negative, so it has to be a sad face. And y is a +9, so you go up. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when I draw this, it's going to go like this. Sad face. I'm sorry. Yeah, sad face. So I just noticed I also made a big boo-boo on the last one right here. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to fix it because as I'm looking at this right here, it's a +9. So hold on, let's get back to this. Here we go. So that means I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Parabola, parabola, sad face. Now, you know it's a sad face because if it's a -x², it's a sad face. If it's a +x², it is a happy face. All right, you guys, we went over several examples. Now what I would like you guys to do is you're going to start off with working on this one. Tell me what the x-intercept and the y-intercept is. So as I'm looking at the very first one, my x-intercept is where it's crossing. That's a 1, or I'm sorry, excuse me. The x-intercept is at 1 and 4. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y. That's at 4. Is it a max or a min? It's a max. I'm sorry, it's a min. Just kidding. And that is it. You don't have to do the equation. So just make sure you label that for me. So pause the video and complete the 12 different questions here. All right. If you are done with that, then let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. So flip it over. Here I have the equations for you. Now your goal is to match the equations to the graphs itself. Okay, so let's take a look at the first question here. The first one, you have a -x plus 2 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. So for the first one, opposite of a -3 is a +3. This one, you're going to have a -x minus 2 equals 0. -x equals a +2. +x equals a -2. So which one here is crossing the -2 and also the +2 or +3? And it has to be a sad face because it has a negative there. So -2 and 3. Oh, right there, sad face. So this question goes with this graph right there. All right, you guys, complete this one and then, yeah. Have a wonderful week. As always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.